that I internalized every word. I couldn't wait to tell my mother, who would delight in the news. As soon as my mom drove up in her navy blue 1979 Corvette, the Evita soundtrack blaring, I climbed into the back. Our cute neighbor, Todd, a little older than I was, settled into the white leather bucket seat that was tinged yellow from cigarette smoke. I wanted them both to know what was predicted for me, so I spilled it all. Mrs. Stern read my fortune, and she said I'm going to be a beautiful actress, I bragged. I wanted my mother to be impressed. I wanted Todd to notice me. Even at age 7, I knew beauty was a rare prize. Yeah, right, Todd scoffed. That's ridiculous, my mother said as she pulled out of the Stearns' long driveway. Once we were safely out of view, she took a drag off her Vantage cigarette. She exhaled against the dashboard, filling the car with curls of smoke. Why would she tell you that? Besides, if you do grow up to be beautiful, emphasis on the if, and tall, emphasis on the and, you'll be a model. Or you'll marry an oil man and spend your days on his yacht. That settled it. My mother's word was gospel. End of discussion. I looked out the window. As it happened, Mrs. Stern's prediction for me came true, at least in part. I was an actress, and by this point I'd gone through my fair share of men, even an oil man, whom I eventually found lacking. But I was still searching, still unsatisfied, still restless and stuck, still desperate to please, still prone to periods of overwhelming despair, still binge drinking when I couldn't make sense of what to do next or needed to escape my body. I wanted clues, signs, good fortune. I wanted someone to tell me how the story unfolded. I wanted someone to spell out what came next. Now, many years and many seers later, here I was again. T studied the cards for a long time and then stacked them up in a neat deck. She tented her fingers, her unpolished nails touching, and said with the kind of conviction that one expects from a tarot reader, your life is going to change in Prague. The cat at her feet looked up at me as if in agreement. I smiled. There it was. My life was going to change in Prague. She went on to say that I would meet a little man who would become important to me and that the true meaning of my life would be revealed. This, too, sounded fine. In fact, this whole visit was turning out to be much better than the last psychic I'd seen, who informed me that in my past life, I'd been held captive by my own father and locked in a cement tomb in the woods, where I was burned alive, unknown by anyone. I was going to Prague to shoot the movie Hellboy, in which I'd been cast as Liz Sherman, a pyro-telekinetic who, in a rage, accidentally burned her family to death and now must learn to control her powers. The director, Guillermo del Toro, had seen me in an indie film called Storytelling and thought my face held great loss. Loss was at the pit of Liz, he said. She couldn't touch anyone. Any feeling made her burn. It was a fitting role for me because, for years of my life, beginning in my 20s, I often had the sensation that my arms were on fire. The feeling would come and go inexplicably, a tingle all the way down to my fingertips, like tiny electric shocks, then a burning so intense I felt I might combust, then gone. Though it nagged at me, I never said anything about this to anyone, not even my mother. It was just one more mystery about my body that I didn't understand. So, I went to Prague, where I waited for the magical, life-changing moment T predicted. A short man, T was right about that bit, sought me out, a refugee from the former Yugoslavia, and we spent every night together, drinking slivovitz and champagne in bars. We fought, made up, made out, got drunk, fought, made up, made out, drank more. I felt as if I were living inside a Bukowski novel. In the morning, I woke up wondering who this tiny, tattooed, hot-tempered, blue-eyed man next to me was, only to realize he was now mine. This wasn't the change I wanted.